agree.
So faith, then community, which is talking about this need to build that community, and not just a community of people that know our name and we know theirs, but people whose needs we can meet, who can meet our needs, who share our values. Then in the 6th week, I get practical and I say, okay, let's talk about something that you can do right now that is going to change your relationship with how you live. And I won't mention his name, but you would know who he is. He's a prominent Australian businessman who we spoke during COVID, and he was feeling very, very trapped by the national border being shut down. And he discovered that actually if your plane is 6 seats or less, you can leave. All the restrictions didn't apply to privately owned planes that were small. So he just bought himself a long-range small plane that had the range to be able to get out to Pacific Islands and through Asia and so forth. He never felt the need to leave Australia after that because he knew he could. So taking some practical steps can completely change your relationship with your circumstances, even if it doesn't change your circumstances. And the practical steps that I advocate for people to take is something that everyone can do, is what I call my survive in place plan. And let me preface this. We saw it in Spain the other day, instability of the grid. London, the grid went down, the tube stopped. Our grid is becoming less and less stable. Storms, in Texas, there was a winter storm a couple of years ago, killed over 700 people, not because of the storm, but because the grid went down and people weren't ready for it. People weren't prepared. We are seeing around the world, if we had a Carrington event, 1854, I think it was, look it up, it'll scare the bejesus out of you if you don't know what it is. A solar flare, basically, which was so powerful back then that it was setting fire to the telegraph huts because the wires were acting as antenna, and there was so much latent energy in the atmosphere that was sparking and setting fire to things. Imagine that in our modern world. What if the Earth copped one of those today? Right? What would that do to all of our devices, all of the devices that control all of our infrastructure, all the rest of it? I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just saying, look, I think politically the hour is later than we think it is, and we're closer to shortages and supply chain disruptions than we think we are. And I think technologically we're more vulnerable than we think we are. I can't change either of those realities. What I can change is my relationship to those realities. And I do that by having a 3-day survive in place plan that in theory means that if everything stopped, nothing in or out of the borders of my property, no water, no gas, no sewage going out, by the way, you've got to think about sanitation, no electricity, no grocery runs, no neighbors, nothing. How long can I stay within the borders of my property discreetly surviving? Now, I was in Victoria when the lockdowns came in and the famous toilet paper shortage happened. And I've seen people get real savage over a roll of toilet paper. Just stop and think for a moment. If there was a genuine 3-day disruption to food on the supermarket shelves, the minute the word got out, people would be gouging out each other's eyeballs in the local supermarket. Now, again, I'm not trying to spread fear, but I think it needs to be said. We are closer to that knife's edge than I think we realize. Politically speaking, the hour is later than we think, and technologically, we're more vulnerable than we think. We need to be working on our food, our water, our sanitation, our energy. It's relatively inexpensive. You don't need a big Tesla battery on your wall. You can get these nice camping battery setups that'll run your fridge for a couple of days, right? That keep all your food from spoiling. You allow you to cook some food, boil some water, these sorts of things. And I'm not saying that you're going to need it, but I'm saying that having it is going to change your relationship with your circumstances. You are not going to have to be as edgy, as knife's edge of, oh, what's happening now? What's happening today? What, did someone say something? If you know you've got resilience, and what about 30 days of resilience instead of 3? If you knew you had resilience, you could actually breathe better and relax a lot more, and your relationship with your circumstances will improve. And so that's what I would say that I'm doing for my family, and what I think we should all be doing.
Got to be interesting to see this younger generation coming through now that are 14 and 15 that have never even picked up a fucking shovel. Now they're digging a hole, putting a shit in it. That would be interesting.
Yes.
Topher, this has been a very impactful interview. Again, thank you very much for you flew up here from New South Wales just to come to this interview, which we're very grateful for.
My pleasure. It's been a lot of fun.
What's the best way of people to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so follow me at Topher Field on all the socials. It's the same handle across all the socials. I am most active on YouTube these days. X and all the rest of it, I'm mostly just posting the links to my YouTube videos. That's what I'm doing. But I'll get back to X in a bit more of a serious way in coming months. I do have a website, Good People Break Bad Laws. That's where you can find my books. There's 2. One about civil disobedience in the modern world, and the other, a second book, is about the theology of civil disobedience. So diving into the scripture and mounting the case for why I believe that Christians should be actually among the very first people to stand up against a government when it oversteps its God-given boundaries. I have a DVD of my award-winning documentary, Battleground Melbourne. You can also see that for free. Battlegroundmelbourne.com. It's just there. You can watch it. You don't have to give me an email address or anything. When I made that documentary, I had the privilege of being the storyteller, but it's not my story. That story was written by the people of Victoria and their courage in the face of Daniel Andrews. And so when I had the privilege of telling that story, I made a promise that I would keep it available for free online for as long as I could. And that's what I'm doing. So battlegroundmelbourne.com, you can watch it for free. But at any given point in time, with censorship laws and everything changing in Australia, that could get taken down. So if you wanted to get a copy of the DVD, you can do that from Good People Break Bad Laws, along with my books. And then I got my T-shirts, I got my my hoodies, etc. You mentioned earlier America and their sort of culture with guns and the American Revolution. I was wearing, and I took it off for this interview, but I was wearing when I got here my shirt that says "Too much 1984, not enough 1776." And it's my favorite niche shirt. It's like one of these "if you know, you know" kind of shirts. Yeah. And I nearly wore it for this interview, but I didn't.
Topher, thank you very much. James, it's been as usual. Thank you. Mark, appreciate you coming every time, driving up from Byron Bay
with my Tesla Powerwall
in your Tesla car. And again, to the audience, thank you very much for your attention. And watching Unemployable. We're showing up every week for you guys to bring interesting people like Topher on in spreading some education around on things that you don't know. Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you like, let us know what you dislike, and who else you'd like to get on the podcast. And thank you again for your time. Thanks for your attention, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Unemployable. If you'd like to watch another episode, just click there.